Have you ever poured your heart into something, only to find yourself restless because the result hasn't arrived yet? You check your phone constantly, your mind circles around the question, when will it happen? Why hasn't it come yet? The truth is, the more you cling to the result, the more anxious and drained you become. Stoicism teaches us a profound lesson. You cannot control external events, you can only control your responses. Manifestation echoes this wisdom. Your energy shapes your reality. If your energy is filled with desperation, fear, and impatience, then even if opportunities appear, you won't be able to fully recognize or receive them. Imagine planting a seed. If you keep digging it up every day to check whether it has sprouted, will it ever have the chance to grow?
No.
The best way is to water it, care for it, and trust that nature will do its job. Your dreams are no different. I once knew a woman who dreamed of finding love. She tried too hard, constantly scrolling through dating apps, judging every interaction as if it must be the one. But when she finally stopped obsessing, began focusing on enjoying her own life, traveling, pursuing hobbies, nurturing friendships, love appeared, almost naturally. She met someone who resonated with her energy, and the relationship grew with ease. Backhand index pointing right. How do we detach from outcomes? Trust the process. Believe that once you've taken the right actions, results will come at the right time. Focus on the present moment. Pour your energy into what you can do now, not what you're waiting for. Let go of desperation. Remember, you don't need to chase what is truly aligned with you. It will find its way to you. When you release your grip on the outcome, you make space for the universe to surprise you. True strength lies not in forcing results, but in trusting that life will deliver what is meant for you, at the perfect moment. Have you ever noticed how the same situation can make one person collapse in despair, while another person remains calm and even grows stronger from it? The difference does not lie in the event itself, but in the way the mind interprets it. Stoicism reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Every thought is like a seed. If you plant seeds of fear and doubt, your inner garden will be overrun with weeds. But if you plant seeds of hope, clarity, and resilience, your mind will bloom with strength. Consider this: two people lose their jobs at the same time. One falls into hopelessness, convinced that life is over. The other sees it as a chance to reinvent themselves, to pursue a career more aligned with their passions. Same event, two completely different outcomes, simply because of mindset. I once knew a young man who was constantly negative. Every time he faced challenges, he would complain, "Why does this always happen to me?" His life never seemed to improve, because his energy only attracted more difficulties. One day, he started journaling daily, writing down at least 3 things he was grateful for. At first it felt forced, but gradually, his thoughts shifted. Instead of focusing on what was missing, he began to see what was present. His mindset transformed, and so did his life. He landed a better job, made new friends, and carried himself with more confidence. Backhand index pointing right. How do we master our mindset? Notice your inner dialogue. Pay attention to the words you say to yourself. Are they empowering or limiting? Reframe challenges. Instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" Feed your mind with the right input. Books, conversations, and environments all influence the way you think. Choose wisely. When you master your mindset, you unlock freedom. You are no longer a prisoner of circumstances, but the author of your response. That is where true power lies, not in controlling the world, but in mastering the lens through which you see it. Have you ever felt impatient because things weren't happening as quickly as you wanted? You told yourself, "I've worked hard, I've done everything right, so why haven't the results come yet?" That frustration can eat away at your peace. But both Stoicism and manifestation remind us, everything has its season. Just as spring does not arrive before winter ends, and fruit does not ripen before its time, your goals and desires will also unfold when the conditions are truly ready. Think of a river. You can't force it to flow faster by shouting at it. You can only learn to flow with it, trusting that it is always moving in the right direction. In the same way, life has a rhythm and timing that is wiser than our impatience. I once heard the story of a writer who spent years submitting manuscripts and facing rejection after rejection. At times he nearly gave up. But during those years, his skills improved, his perspective deepened, and his voice matured. Finally, when one publisher accepted his work, it wasn't just a book, it was a masterpiece, one that might not have been possible had success come earlier. Looking back, he realized the timing had been perfect. Backhand index pointing right. How can we trust the timing? Release the illusion of control. Know that you can control effort, but not the exact moment results appear. See delays as preparation. What feels like waiting may actually be life preparing you for something greater. Practice patience as strength. Each time you choose patience over panic, you grow in resilience. Trusting timing does not mean doing nothing. It means you keep moving, keep planting seeds, while knowing that the harvest will come when the season is right. When you surrender impatience and embrace trust, life feels lighter. You no longer measure your worth by how fast results arrive, but by the grace with which you walk the journey. Remember, the universe is never late, never early, always right on time. Have you ever found yourself working endlessly, yet feeling empty at the end of the day? That's what happens when action is disconnected from purpose. Action alone doesn't guarantee fulfillment, only purposeful action does. Stoicism teaches us to live according to virtue, not impulse. Manifestation adds another layer. Your actions are the bridge between intention and reality. If you want your desires to materialize, your daily steps must align with your deeper values. Imagine two people building houses. One simply piles up bricks as fast as possible, while the other carefully follows a blueprint. Who will end up with a home that truly stands strong? In the same way, your life is built not by random effort, but by deliberate action tied to purpose. I knew a woman who always said she wanted financial freedom. Yet she spent most of her time scrolling on her phone, complaining about her job, and wishing for change. Nothing shifted. One day, she decided to act with intention, setting aside 1 hour daily to learn new skills, networking with people in her field, and budgeting wisely. Within a year, she not only changed careers but also built the foundation for her own business. What made the difference? Purposeful action. Backhand index pointing right. How do we act with purpose? Clarify your why. Before acting, ask yourself, why am I doing this? Does it connect to my bigger vision? Align small steps with big goals. Even minor daily actions, when tied to a greater mission, create momentum. Avoid empty busyness. Being busy is not the same as being productive. Focus on meaningful progress, not just motion. When your actions are infused with purpose, life feels less like a struggle and more like a journey with direction. Every effort becomes meaningful, every task a part of a larger picture. Remember, don't just move, move with meaning. Don't just act, act with purpose. Have you ever tried to control every detail of life, only to end up exhausted and frustrated? The harder you try to tighten your grip, the more life seems to slip through your fingers. Stoicism offers a timeless lesson. Some things are within our control, others are not. True peace comes from recognizing the difference. Manifestation aligns with this truth. If your energy is constantly consumed by forcing what you cannot control, you block the flow of what could naturally come to you. Imagine sailing a boat. You can control how you adjust the sails, but you cannot control the direction of the wind. If you fight against the wind, you will tire yourself out and go nowhere. But if you learn to work with it, you will travel far with less effort. Life works the same way. I once knew a man who tried to control everything in his relationship. He dictated how his partner should act, where she should go, what she should say. Instead of building love, he built tension. Only when he learned to loosen his grip, to trust, to allow space, did the relationship begin to thrive. In trying to control less, he actually gained more harmony. Backhand index pointing right. How can we let go of control? Separate what's yours from what's not. Focus on your thoughts, choices, and actions, not on other people or circumstances. Practice surrender. When you've done your part, release the outcome. Say to yourself, I've given my best. The rest is not mine to hold. See uncertainty as opportunity. Life's unpredictability isn't always an enemy. Sometimes it brings gifts you never could have planned. Letting go of control doesn't mean becoming passive or careless. It means being wise enough to act where you can, and humble enough to release where you cannot. When you stop trying to micromanage the universe, you free your energy to focus on what truly matters, and often, that's when life starts working with you instead of against you. Remember, peace begins where control ends. Have you ever noticed how some people always seem to lack? Never enough money, never enough time, never enough opportunities. While others, even with little, radiate a sense of fullness and attract more into their lives? The difference lies not in circumstances, but in mindset. Stoicism teaches us to find contentment with what we already have. Manifestation goes further, reminding us that whatever energy you send out is what you invite back. If you live in a mindset of lack, you will only see and create more lack. But if you live in a mindset of abundance, opportunities and blessings seem to multiply. Think of two farmers. One constantly complains that his field is too small, the soil too dry, and the weather too harsh. The other, though facing the same challenges, looks for ways to nurture what he has, planting seeds, caring for the soil, trusting the cycle of nature. Who do you think will see growth? Abundance is not about how much you have, it's about how much you see. I once knew a woman who often said, "I never have enough money." Despite working hard, her finances were always a struggle. When she shifted her focus to gratitude, writing down even the smallest blessings, like being able to pay for her meals or afford a bus ride, her energy changed. Within a year, she found better opportunities, doubled her income, and, most importantly, felt at peace with what she had. Backhand index pointing right. How do we cultivate an abundance mindset? Practice gratitude daily. Focus on what's already present instead of what's missing. Celebrate small wins. Recognize progress, no matter how minor. Abundance grows when acknowledged. Replace "not enough" with "plenty." Shift your language and your perspective will follow. An abundance mindset doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to focus on possibility, growth, and the richness already around you. When you live in abundance, you stop chasing what you lack and start attracting what truly belongs to you. Remember, scarcity lives in fear, but abundance lives in gratitude. One of the greatest mistakes we make in life is thinking that if we just work harder, push stronger, or worry more, success will arrive faster. But the truth is, effort without alignment and patience only creates resistance. Think of someone swimming upstream with all their strength. They're exhausted, frustrated, and feel like they're not moving anywhere. Now imagine turning around and swimming with the current. Suddenly, the flow carries them effortlessly. This is the difference between forcing and aligning. Stoic wisdom reminds us that the things we cannot control must be released. Manifestation adds that once you've taken aligned action, steps that match your purpose and values, you must let go of the outcome. Your role is to act. The universe's role is to arrange the results. A friend of mine, Grace, was building her business. She worked long hours, chased every opportunity, and stressed constantly about growth. But the harder she pushed, the more drained she became. One day, a mentor told her, "Do the right work, then let go of the result. Trust that it will come when it's meant to." She shifted her focus, working intentionally but no longer obsessing. In a few months, her business began to flourish, opportunities appeared naturally, and she realized that surrendering control was the missing key. Backhand index pointing right. How can you apply this principle? Take aligned action. Make sure your steps reflect your values and purpose, not fear or desperation. Release control of timing. Results don't arrive on your schedule. They arrive on life's schedule. Trust the process. Your effort is never wasted. It creates momentum that unfolds when the time is right. Seneca once said, "Effort and patience will achieve more than force and anxiety." This timeless truth reminds us that force creates resistance, while calm persistence creates results. At the end of the day, the formula for success is simple. Act with clarity, let go of control, and remain patient. When you combine purposeful effort with trust in life's timing, everything you've been working toward begins to arrive, not through struggle, but through flow. Remember, take the step, then let the path unfold. One of the heaviest burdens we carry in life is the constant need to control everything: people, situations, outcomes, even the future. But the more we try to grip life tightly, the more it slips through our fingers. True freedom begins when we stop trying to control the uncontrollable and focus instead on mastering ourselves. Think about it. How much time do we waste worrying about what others think, stressing about tomorrow, or replaying what-if scenarios? All of this drains our energy but changes nothing. The weather will shift whether you like it or not. People will act as they choose, not as you wish. The future will unfold in its own way. What you can control is your mindset, your actions, and your response. Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." These words carry deep wisdom. Freedom is not found in dominating the world, but in releasing the need to dominate it. When you stop clinging to what you cannot change, you create space for peace and clarity. Let me share a story. Anna, a woman I knew, was always anxious about her career. She obsessed over whether people respected her, feared failure, and worried endlessly about the future. The more she tried to control everything, the more paralyzed she became. One day, she shifted her approach. Instead of micromanaging life, she focused on what she could influence: her effort, her learning, her daily actions. Slowly, she felt lighter. Opportunities began to appear naturally. By letting go of control, she opened herself to the flow of life. Backhand index pointing right. So, how can you begin letting go? Focus on what's within your control. Your thoughts, actions, and responses are yours. Own them fully. Release rigid expectations. Not everything has to go according to plan. Life has its own rhythm. Trust it. Embrace the unknown. Life is unpredictable, and that's not something to fear but to accept. The paradox is clear. The more you release, the freer you become. The world won't collapse if you stop controlling it. In fact, you may discover that life flows more beautifully without your constant interference. At the end of the day, peace doesn't come from perfect control. It comes from trust, acceptance, and wisdom. When you master yourself instead of everything around you, you step into true freedom. Remember, your power lies not in control, but in surrender.